Hello everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Pooja Deshmukh, working with City Corp Services India Private Limited in robotics process automation team. And today I'm going to talk about an interesting topic. I'm sure that you must have enjoyed all the topics that we are discussing since yesterday, and these are really stimulating talks. So let's move to my own talk. So today I'm going to talk about chatbot to chatbot communication, which is the future of conversational AI. Being in the field of robotics process automation, I always think of using the new technologies in automation. So chatbots. The chatbots right now are getting used in various domains, and they do have the capability more than answering just the queries. So, in the recent years, chatbots have become really popular in the process automation area as they can handle repetitive tasks and they can reduce the human errors and enhance the efficiency as well. So, let's have a look at today's agenda. Going to see everything about chatbot to chatbot communication. We are going to cover some comparison between the traditional, that is human to chatbot, and advanced chatbot communication. Then what's the need of this particular technology, what are the architectural components of it, and what could be the application areas, along with some advantages, disadvantages, and research and development. So let's move. Before we actually start with the chatbot to chatbot communication, let's have a look at how exactly the current state of conversational AI is. Conversational AI has made a significant progress in recent years in natural language processing and machine learning. Many business users are using it to automate the customer service and support, and they are also using it to enhance customer engagement and experience. Conversational agents are getting used in wide range of industries, including e-commerce, finance, education, entertainment, almost in every industry. Despite of this progress, there are still challenges that a conversational AI is facing, which could be maybe complex language or handling the disambiguity in the questions, or some personalized responses that need some empathy. Now let's have a look at what exactly chatbot to chatbot communication. It is nothing but a chatbot communicating with other chatbot or collaborating with other chatbot to provide the best solution to the queries that are asked by the users. Now, just consider for the sake of an example, there is a chatbot which is customer facing chatbot, and customer is asking some questions, and that chatbot doesn't have or is not being trained on some complex technical queries. So that will fail back. But in case of chatbot to chatbot communication, the chatbot can connect with some specialized chatbot to get those technical queries resolved, and it can respond back to the customer with the details. It's becoming increasingly popular and important in the development of conversational AI systems as it allows to handle the wider range of tasks and provide the better experience considering the knowledge that it's going to leverage. Now let's have a look at the comparison between the traditional human to chatbot communication and the advanced chatbot to chatbot communication. So here, if you can see on the screen, so this first small window, the user is asking to this chatbot that, hey Genie, can you please help me with the transaction and tax calculations for last 3 years? And the Genie responds back, or it fails back saying that, sorry, I'm still learning. Now here what is happening is it is a traditional chatbot that deals only with answering some basic questions on which it's been trained on. Maybe the customer facing queries only, or it is not been trained to perform some complex calculations. So that's why it is failing back. Now, what happens in the world of chatbot to chatbot communication? In this whole second window, let's see. Now, here the same user is again asking the chatbot that, hey, Genie, can you please help me with the transactions and tax calculations for last 3 years? And here the Genie smartly replies back, sure, let me get back to you in a while. And in the back end, what the magic Genie is doing is it communicates with other expert chatbot who has been specifically trained to perform the tax calculations over the transaction details for which the user is asking for. And this Genie sends the message details, whatever the details that user needs, to this backend chatbot, and the new chatbot will respond back with the actual details to Genie. Now, Genie has the information that customer or the user exactly needs, and it will respond back with those details shared by the new chatbot. Now here the user is really satisfied getting the complex answer to the complex queries as well. Now, this was the general customer facing chatbot. Now, let's have a look at some specific use case in the process automation area. Now, consider the example of bank where maybe the user is uploading the details in different systems daily. He's doing some repetitive tasks daily again and again to upload some information to the system. And the organization has done this at a level of automation where at least the user don't need to go to different systems to pick up the data. User can directly go to the chatbot and ask for whatever the data that he or she needs. Now here, what is the daily task of the user is to get the account details. Once the chatbot shares the account details, the user can pick those and upload it in different systems or share it in the email, the daily task that he or she needs to do. Now, if there is an idea of chatbot to chatbot communication introduced in such automation use cases, what's going to happen? So instead of a user, there will be a chatbot who will perform these repetitive tasks daily based on some trigger or based on the time, and then it will get the information from the existing chatbot, and the new chatbot will perform that repetitive task again and again to upload the details to some portal or to send the emails. So that's the overall idea behind or that's the overall comparison behind the chatbot to chatbot communication in the automation domain, specifically in the process automation domain. Now let's have a look at why really we need the chatbot to chatbot communication. So if we see it in general, right, it's been like to ensure that we have the faster responses, which is of course chatbot can respond faster than the humans. Then second thing is it has more accurate responses because it leverages the knowledge that it has in the domain expert or a particular domain. So these are some generic advantages or the needs we can say that the chatbot to chatbot communication have. Now, while considering the analytics maturity model, uh, there are 5 different levels of maintaining the data in different organizations. Let's have a look at what those details are. So the organization which maintains the data at level 1, they don't have any analytical capability at all. The organizations that maintain the data at level 2, they can export, they have some basic or very low level of analytical capability. They can just perform some data exports. At level 3, it's much better that it's basic reporting thing that they do have in the analytical view. Level 4 could be some standalone dashboards and some reporting modules. And level 5 is a great achievement of having the analytical capability in the applications or in the data. So these are the level of maintaining the data in the organizations. Now when it comes to level 1 to level 4, these are maintained in silos. So when any data is maintained in silos, it's very difficult to relate it with each other and then get back and then perform some analytical tasks and give the details to the users. When it comes to chatbot communication, the chatbot can be trained on the specific domains data or the specific area, and it can definitely get back to the users in such cases. So, of course, when it is maintained at level 5, it's easier for chatbot. But even when it is maintained at level 1 to 4, a chatbot can do the magic of sharing the data. And the need of chatbot to chatbot communication here is you can train the data in a particular area in which they are storing the data in silos. Now let's have a look at how this magical thing actually happens in the back end. Let's have a look at the architectural components of it. So what we have in the architectural components of chatbot to chatbot communication is, of course, the first one is chatbot. It is a conversational agent which actually processes the inputs. Then we have an API. This API is nothing but receives the messages from this chatbot and sends those messages to the communication channel. Now here the communication channel, you can consider any of the platform that's been used to host the chatbots. It could be a Facebook Messenger, or it could be WhatsApp, or in general terms of customer services it could be anything, or in terms of any organization it could be the customized chatbot to chatbot communication platform that has been built specifically for this functionality. Now, what happens after receiving the messages from communication channel? The communication channel will send back the details to API, and then the API will connect to the correct chatbot in the chatbot repository. Here, the chatbot repository is nothing but the set of chatbots that are trained to perform the specific task. Uh, it stores the data about each and every chatbot on which it has been trained on. And after this chatbot repository, there is a layer of natural language processing, of course, which will perform all the tasks that are necessary for a chatbot to understand the user queries and respond back. After that, there is a layer of API again, which connects you to the external data sources. Now, why do we need to connect to external data sources? Of course, if the data needs to be pulled out from some systems, then we need to get the data from the systems and give back to the chatbots. So that's what is happening here. This API will help to get the data from the external data sources, and it will again process back. It will give back to the chatbot to process it further. So that's the overall components of the chatbot to chatbot communication architecture. Now, let's have a look at some applications or use cases that can be performed in using the chatbot to chatbot communication. So the very first thing is customer service. So in the customer service, the first chatbot, which is customer facing chatbot, could accept the queries from the customer, and if it is not able to answer, it can forward it to some specific task based chatbot. In terms of sales, it is to automate the sales process and provide some personalized recommendations. And after that, if it user needs to pay something, then the chatbot can divert that to the sales specific chatbot or the payment specific chatbot. The next domain is banking domain. There are plenty of use cases in banking domain. One of those could be like to automate the account opening or loan processing, where the main chatbot, which is customer facing, can get the initial information from the customer and can hand it over to the account management or the loan processing chatbot to process it further. The fourth is again the healthcare, where the chatbot can accept uh, initial chatbot can accept the patient information and the symptoms of the patients, and then it can hand it over to the specific chatbot, where maybe it will recommend or it can help to the screening of the correct disease. The fifth one is HR chatbot. Again, there are numerous use cases that can be performed here, like initial in case of recruitment, the chatbot can take the resume details or the profile details from the person, from the candidate, and it can send it to the next chatbot for the correct job recommendations. So these are the various application areas, and it definitely has the numerous potential applications across various industries and functions. And its effectiveness completely depends on the use cases that we are going to handle using this chatbot to chatbot communication. Now let's have a look at some advantages and disadvantages of it. When it comes to advantages, it does have the increased efficiency and scalability, because it can perform the repetitive tasks that the repetitive tasks can be automated. It can handle the large number of queries at a time than a human, of course, so that's why it is efficient and scalable. It has improved accuracy and consistency of responses, so it leverages the domain knowledge, right? So that's why it has more accurate responses than a human. It's because it's been trained on the domain specific data. Of course, it processes the queries faster than the user. That's why it can handle the large amount of data. And being cost effective, it reduces the operational cost because it can handle the routine tasks and queries, freeing up the human resources for complex tasks. So that's why it can be considered as a cost effective thing. Now, when it comes to disadvantages, of course, the general disadvantages of chatbot that we're facing even right now is the lack of empathy on the human touch. Then of course a chatbot cannot think out of the box, so that is one of the disadvantage, that it does have the limited creativity and ability to handle the situations. Then depending on the high quality of the data, it completely depends on the high quality data, so we need really a good data to train such domain expert chatbots. And of course, there is a possibility of having some errors in the conversational flow while training. Now let's have a look at some research and development that is ongoing in this area. So, being a chatbot to chatbot communication, which means a multi-agent system, and it enables more complex and dynamic interaction between chatbots because uh, it it is like a parent-child flow where main chatbot can send back the details to other chatbots. Then there is ongoing research to develop the techniques for the domain adaptation as well, to expand the knowledge and handle the wider range of user queries. Being multiple chatbots involved in it, interoperability is of course the important consideration, and that of course enables the communication, like the seamless communication and collaboration between different chatbots, so that we can get the better customer service. And finally, the development of chatbot frameworks and APIs to facilitate some seamless communication on that. So overall, it is an emerging field of research and development, and there are several ongoing developments and initiatives that are improving the capabilities and effectiveness of chatbot to chatbot communication. So finally, overall, as a conclusion, it does have the potential to revolutionize the way we interact with conversational AI system today, and it could have significant value in the future implications as well. Thank you for your time, and if you have any question and answers, you can go ahead.